Hey everybody, and welcome to our Greene Acres. In today's video, I'm going to show y'all some decor upcycles that I do from some thrifted finds and also a trash to treasure. At the end of the video, I'm also going to take y'all thrift store shopping. I usually go to Goodwill and take y'all along, but today I'm going to take y'all to a different thrift store. So y'all stay tuned. I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I hope you get lots of ideas and inspiration for your home. The first project we're going to start out with is going to be a trash to treasure. I don't know about y'all, but I buy my coffee from Walmart, and it comes in a metal can. And coffee coming in a metal can these days is kind of rare. Most of the time, it is made of some kind of like plastic texture. But I love these large metal cans, and a lot of times I hate to throw them away. So I thought, why not, let's make a piece of pretty home decor out of it, and we'll use it for spring and summer and add some pretty florals. Now, of course, you can paint the can any color you want to, but I decided to paint it black. I'm using Dixie Belle's paint, and the color is Caviar. I have this beautiful white transfer. I always have transfer scraps, and I had a couple of these left over from an IOD transfer book. These white transfers really pop on this black background. I apply the transfer, and then I'm just going to use the little clear sheet and just burnish it on. These little white birds, I think, just made this little coffee can to make a great little container to add some florals. You can set this out for all the seasons, but I think it's really going to be pretty for spring and summer. Now I got this package of 5 wooden tags, and I'm going to leave a link in my description box if you want to order these. These right here, you can use both sides. So I love blanks like this because they are so fun to do, and you can keep on upcycling them and keep creating with them. Once you do one side, you can always flip them over and put something else on the other side. Now I'm using Dixie Belle's paint, and the color is Fluff. I painted all my blanks in the fluff. I gave them a couple of layers until they were covered, and now we're going to add some decoupage paper and some transfers. I'm going to show you how pretty it is of how we can layer and make some really pretty hang tags. The first one, I'm going to use this little scrap piece of decoupage paper, and I will also have a link to where I get a lot of my decoupage paper from. But I had this piece left over, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful for spring and summer. Y'all know I always love to use DIY liquid patina as my decoupage medium, so I'm going to apply all my decoupage paper using it. I just do the same thing. I'm using this piece of decoupage paper. I've used it on a previous project, and I had some left. Once I got my papers applied, I rolled over each one with a brayer. That way it'll smooth out any of that decoupage medium, and it'll also alleviate a lot of the bubbles and wrinkles. Now I've got this really large piece of decoupage paper, and I did a couple with it because I love that little green sack stripe. And this right here is a beautiful printable, and I'll leave a link to her Etsy shop, but this is from Honeybee Printables. She has some absolutely beautiful downloads that you can purchase, and she'll send them to your email, and you can print them out as many times as you want to. I have this one with the sheep on it, and this one right here you can apply with glue stick. So easy to apply because it is just printed out on printer paper, and it works best using glue stick. I rolled over it with my brayer. Once everything was dry, I went around each hang tag with my little finger sander, and I removed any excess paper, and I went around and smoothed out all my edges, and I got a little pencil and I poked through the hole. Now once I get all my little tags done and I get them prepped, now I'm going to show you how we can add just another level of detail to them, but something that's fun and easy. But we're just going to get creative. I'm also going to use some things that I already have in my supplies. That is the fun of doing these projects, is going through the things that you already have and try to use the things that you have in your supplies and make them work and just get creative with them. On the first hang tag that I did with the pretty floral background, I thought this bird cage transfer would be so pretty on it. I have these transfers linked in my Amazon store, and I'll make sure to link them down in my description box, and I'll also put the links in a pinned comment. But I'm going to apply this little bird cage to this one, but I'm just showing you how you can layer. After you decoupage on your hang tags, you can also layer and put some transfers on them, or you could even get out some of your stamps or your stencils. On that same sheet of the one that I just did with the little bird cage was this cute little birdhouse. There's 3 sheets that come with this little transfer pack, but they're all like birdhouse and bird related, but they're really pretty for spring and summer. But I just applied the little birdhouse to this tag, and I'm not going to stop there. There's a little bird on this sheet, so I'm going to cut the little bird out. I'm going to place the bird on the hang tag and apply him. I don't know about y'all, but spring and summer to me just screams these little birds and bird nests. And just, I don't know, I love to decorate my home with things like this. I applied this beautiful transfer of the little bird on this other hang tag. And like I say, these 3 sheets of transfers have a lot of really pretty little transfers, bits on them. And I also wanted to show you can go around with your wax brush. I put just a little dab lightly of some dark wax, and I went around the edges and I kind of went over some of the hang tags with the dark wax just so it looks a little bit more vintage looking, but that is totally optional. I added some little rustic ribbons and lace to them to make some hangers, and now we got some beautiful hang tags that we can decorate with for spring and summer. Next 3 projects are going to be, I don't know, some wooden blocks. I found them all just randomly at the thrift store. This one right here I got at a yard sale and I paid $1 for it. But I took them all out and I thought I'm going to upcycle these and make some pretty decor out of them. So on this one I just removed the little peg that was taped to the back. You can see it's got a little peg for a stand. But I'm going to take this beautiful decoupage paper right here, and like I told y'all, I'll have a link to all the decoupage paper that I use in today's video linked down below. But I love this beautiful rooster. I'm just going to center it on this little wood block and get it centered up to where I can capture as much of the rooster as I can and get a little bit of that detail on the side. So I'm just going to apply it, and I'm using again DIY liquid patina, and I'm just working in sections. You want to just put some on the bottom, apply the paper on the bottom, and then also go over the top of it. I roll over it with a brayer and then just let it dry. Once it's dried really well, then just go around with your little finger sander or just use a piece of sandpaper and sand off any excess paper. Now, if you were to kind of scrape your paper or this little sanding block, you can always go around with your wax brush and with a little bit of dark wax and just kind of go around the edges and just kind of darken it up just a little bit more, and this little block is done. This is so pretty to set up on a shelf. I think it screams French country. So this now is a great piece that we can set out and decorate with throughout all the seasons. Let's work on the second little block project. Now this comes from Goodwill and it was $2.99. I love picking up pieces like this. I love the paint on this. I love how it's distressed, but we're going to have to get rid of that S. So here's what I tried. I just got my little finger sander and I just sanded it away and I faded it down to where you won't be able to see through it. I'm going to leave the rest of it the way it is because like I say, I like this paint and I like the distressing on it. So I'm just going to add a transfer to this and it should fit over that black pretty good and cover it up. And the spaces of black or little areas of black that we may can see through after the sunflower is applied, we can always go back and sand those areas. I did cut off the little sunflower wording. I'm going to have to move it up once I get the flower adhered. I'm just going to use my little transfer stick. And if you've never used transfers before, they are very easy to apply. And it applied really well to this little piece. So I'm just going to work it onto my little board. Once you get it done, you can always go back over it with the top sheet and just burnish it in. Now I did have a little bit of black showing through, so I'm just taking my little finger sander and very carefully I'm just kind of sanding off those little areas. Now I'm going to apply back the little sunflower and now this piece will be done. I absolutely love sunflowers. They are one of my favorite flowers. So this piece right here, I know I'm going to love setting this out for spring, summer, and definitely through the fall. I forgot to mention this sunflower come out of the IOD 2024 Spring Transfer Book, and it's called The Lover of Flowers. I will have a link to where you can order that transfer book down below.
Teardrops start to dry, even when the sun begins to shine again. Taking all the advice there is and none of it has helped. Experience has made me realize that I won't build my life on empty words. Being so damn nice.
Here is our third wood block. This one is more of a little clipboard style and I paid $2.99 for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this little clipboard because it's going to make it easier for me to paint it. I don't have to work around it. We'll just take it off and we'll put it back on. The first thing I want to do is I want to prime this little board because I want some good distressing. When you want some good distressing, milk paint is a great product. It is just 1 part of the powder to 1 part water. You do want to stir it very thoroughly. You want to stir it until it is the consistency of a melted milkshake. So you can see right there. So you usually want to put it on in layers. You usually want to do at least, a couple to 3 layers of this, just depending on the project you're working on. So I'll start out with 1 layer, and then what you'll want to do is you'll want to go over it with a blow dryer. The heat really makes you get some really good crackle in your paint. It will also make it just where it will kind of chip off really good when you go to sand your piece because the milk paint's got texture in it, and that's what makes it distressed really well. Once I got the front the way I wanted it, I went around and I applied milk paint to all the sides and then the top. Now once I got my milk paint applied and I got it all dried, now I'm going to go over and repaint it, and I'm using Dixie Belle's paint in the color Fluff. This right here right now is one of my favorite paints and one of my favorite colors. So I'm just going to go over it with a couple layers, and then again I'm going to apply some heat. Once you apply the heat, it will still crackle with that milk paint up underneath. But I am going to go on. I'm going to apply the hardware back. It was just a couple of screws. It was really easy to take it off, and it was really easy to put it back on. Now I went around and I distressed around the board and got it distressed the way I wanted it. Now I'm going to apply this beautiful rose. This rose right here, transfer, is also in the same Lover of Flowers IOD 2024 Spring book. Now I showed in a previous video of how I dried these roses. These are just some roses I picked up at the grocery store, and when I had enjoyed them alive, and then once I was, going to go throw them out, I decided to dry them instead. They're very easy to do, and then you've got some preserved dried flowers that you can use in your decor. Drying flowers like this just really adds a vintage touch to your florals. And then that way, you know, it's something that you probably were going to throw in the trash, but instead now we can take these out and we can use them and set them out, you know, throughout our decor. I just tied a little piece of some flour sackcloth that I had stained and some coffee. I just tied that around 3 of the little rosebuds and I just clipped them on. Now I think this makes a beautiful piece that just you can hang some photos on. You can put recipe cards on it, vintage postcards. So many things now you can do with this little wood piece that we picked up at Goodwill for $2.99.
I'm so tired of love songs like never turns out the way they do. I've been trying for so long.
Okay, y'all, are y'all ready to go shopping? I know I am. I'm going to take y'all to our Salvation Army in Athens, Alabama. Let me know in the comments if you have a Salvation Army in your area. This one is a small one. It doesn't have the inventory like Goodwill does, but their prices are unbeatable. Look right off the bat. Look at this little vintage high chair. It is solid wood. It had a little damage to the table, but it was only $5. I love this little antique bell. It was only $2, but I love that solid wood handle. This right here could not get in my cart fast enough. Look at these really large candlesticks. There was a set of 3 of these. They were selling them individually, and I think each one was, the 2 smaller ones were 3 each. This one right here, the larger one, it was 4. So y'all, that is a great deal. So for $10, I got these beautiful large candlesticks, and I will definitely be upcycling these in an upcoming video. I never pass up candlesticks when I see them out in the wild. I love this print right here. I love these florals, and I looked on the back, and y'all, this was a Kirkland's piece. I'm not sure how much it was back in the day, but I think at Salvation Army on that day, it was $5. I love this piece. I put it in my cart, then I put it back. It was really heavy, and it had a lot of components to it, but I thought it was really pretty. I showed in a previous video a project that I did with a vintage or some patterns, and I told y'all to always look at your thrift store to see if they have patterns. Patterns in the sheets make great decoupage paper, so I'll link that video at the end of this one if you want to see the project that I made using some patterns. This right here really caught my eye. They had a lot of little vintage type frames this day. Y'all, they were only 50 cents each. I love the size of these, so I definitely picked these up, and they even have little stands on the back. This right here is a really antique frame. You can tell, well, I remember having these back in the day, back in the 80s. This one right here, I love the size of this one. I love how square it is, so I definitely picked this one up. I love these little plaques like these. These right here make great project pieces, and I've done a couple of videos of where I've put decoupage paper on these and made these some really pretty wall decor, and these were only 50 cents. Look at that little sweet note somebody wrote on the back of that, and back in the day that was from Hallmark. Look at the beautiful basket. I love this little flat bottom. It's gold, but I think we can upcycle it and make this little basket really pretty for spring and summer. So y'all be on the lookout for a video where I'll upcycle this little basket, and I'm going to style it for you. This right here, I could not get this in my cart fast enough. Y'all, this was a silverware case loaded down with silverware. It was $15. I haven't really looked at it real close yet, but it does have some vintage pieces. I don't know if any of these are real silver, but look at all the silverware in this case for $15. This was a steal. This right here caught my eye. It was only $1. I definitely picked it up. The bottom is wood. I don't know if it's like a candle holder or part of a lamp. I'm not sure what it was, but I definitely picked it up, and I know we can make something beautiful out of it. These right here, I love wood bowls. These for 50 cents. I definitely couldn't pass these up. They had 2 of them, so I definitely put these in my cart. This right here was a neat find. This is some kind of, I guess, like a silver-plated spoon, but I like that long handle. This right here was a little enamel type wooden Santa. It looks vintage. I don't like the greenery in it, but that is a very easy fix. I put it back, and then I went back and got it. For $1, I know around Christmas time, I'll be so happy I got it. Look at these little salt and pepper shakers that are little Christmas trays. They were 50 cents each. I had to pick up this little shabby chic dish for $1. This right here is really old, but I love that beautiful floral pattern on it. Okay, y'all, that's going to end the video. I hope y'all enjoyed going shopping with me because I came out of that store with a shopping cart full of stuff. So y'all be on the lookout for some future videos where I upcycle a lot of these items or I'll just style them in my home. I hope all of y'all enjoyed the video today. Make sure to leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite thing was in today's video. As always, I love y'all, and I will plan to see y'all again next week in my new video. Bye, y'all.